Just like I promised in my last video comment, today will be a short and easy tutorial on how I grade the Cine4 color footage from the Sony A7 III and the Sony A6400. Take note that my way of color grading and doing final color touches could completely differ from yours. This is purely artistic, creative and personal to each one of us. You might wanna check also my past color grading tutorials for drones and also Sony cameras, and the links are in the description. Recently I have done a wedding completely shot in Cine4. I am using Premiere Pro, so let's jump in. I like to use the Cine4 for my wedding shots because it's far more easier to grade in post and I still get a pretty decent amount of color grading possibilities. The Cine4 is standard and not tweaked in any way, using the S-gamut3.Cine profile. Okay, so we have a middle of the day shoot in bright sunlight. The Cine4 color profile keeps a decent amount of dynamic range and bringing back details from shadows isn't a problem at all. Let's have a look on what I have done and what I used to help me on the process of color grading Cine4. We are going straight to the color panel of Premiere Pro. I always shoot just a little underexposed. I like to preserve the highlights and bring up the shadows in post when I need them, just like in this shot. A little adjustment on the exposure and adding some saturation will bring back the desaturated Cine4 look. This is kind of it for the basic color correction tab. On the drop-down creative tab, I just add a little faded film to bring up the film vibe and sharpen the image just a little bit. Even at f1.4, my Samyang 35mm f1.4 is damn sharp. Let's have a look on the curves. I have just made a slight S curve, not blowing up the highlights. I do not touch the hue and saturation curves. On the color wheel I always bring some blues on the shadows, some warm and yellow tones on the mids and highlights. For the end, I just like to use a slight vignette to focus on the subject. That's it for the color tab. Let's go straight to a plugin that lately I'm really using a lot. It's called Film Convert and it's a plugin that you can download for Premiere Pro. First of all, you have to download the camera pack for your dedicated camera and install it from the desktop. It will appear in the source camera settings. I was using the Sony A7 III with Cine4 S-gamut3.Cine. So let's match the settings. There are some great film stocks to convert your footage in Film Convert. I kinda always use Fujifilm 8553 Eterna. It gives me my desired look. I never use 100 film color and curve. I always put it like 80%. It gives me the best look overall. As for the grain, I kinda don't use it. When you bump up a little the shadows, there will be some added grain and it's enough to get you the feel. The last thing that I like to do is play with the color wheels in Film Convert, adding also a little more blue in the shadows, a greenish yellow look on the midtones and highlights. And this is the final footage after these easy adjustments. Actually, you don't have to use Film Convert to kinda get the same footage. Just bump a little more the saturation, bring down the blacks and you will be really fine. That's it guys, a small color grading tutorial on how I grade Cine4 footage. Next time, S-Log2 and how I grade it. Thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe with the bearing icon to get notified every time I make a new video, and see you my next one.